Hey, it's the Midnight Raven, and today, as my American Horror Story ranking video did so well, we are going to be doing something a little different but a little similar. We are still doing American Horror Story ranking, but today we're going to rank the intros. Now, these are probably things that are a little bit less looked at, less cared about, because who really cares about the intro of a program? Me personally, it's the publicity. It's what maybe captures your eye to want to watch a program. And I actually think the intros can be an integral part of the actual series. So we have all 12 seasons to look at. And of course, we are starting off with Murder House. Now, Murder House, if you saw my rankings, it wasn't necessarily top of the bill for rankings, but it did rank fairly high. So the intro to Murder House isn't one of my personal favorites, but it is one that has some good parts. And it starts off showing just a background. I can't show it because they'll probably copy. But it has this really eerie tune. And then it shows some pictures of some babies. We've got some test tubes with some babies in and some jars. It's really dark. It features in like a basement. You have the names that pop up. You've got chains. You've got dismembered body parts. It has like a distorted feel to it in the camera footage. And it's just flashes and glimpses. And I think it does it pretty well to give you. It doesn't exactly give you like a full-on picture of the entire series, but it does give you like an overview. It doesn't necessarily tell you the story. So obviously the story of American Horror House, the Murder House, the first one, is that it features the Harmon family. After they have a miscarriage and problems with infidelity, they move to a house in Los Angeles, and former ghosts of the former residents of the house start to haunt them, including the Rubber Man. So for me, this American Horror Story Murder House intro, I would put as being really good. I think it's a very strong intro. It doesn't give you the entire story, which is what I hate about intros, where they give you like the entire layout, the entire premise of the story. I hate it when they do that because you want to leave something to the imagination. Okay, moving on to quite a few people's personal favorites. We have Asylum, which features in a madhouse in Briarcliff Manor. And the introduction to this is actually probably one of my favorites. So the Asylum one, again, features that really eerie music that kind of gives you a bit of on edge. There's darkness, there's kind of weirdness to it, the flashes, the dismembered body parts again, showing some of the mental health people, showing them trapped, showing some of the surgery, showing some of the religious artifacts, the statues, again, more blood. Not too much blood. Sister Mary Eunice obviously features in a flash, and you have the kind of, I suppose it makes it kind of dystopian awkwardness in this one more than anything for me. And the whole religious aspect of this, the trail isn't too bad. And it does once again feature that awkwardness that I like in a trailer, where you're not quite sure how you feel about the series and you actually have to watch it to find out. And for that, Asylum is going in best of the best. I think it's a really good intro where it doesn't give you necessarily the entire story once again, which I absolutely hate. Next, we are going to another series that was one of my personal favorites, and that is Coven. Now, Coven is set with some witches, and this is in New Orleans, and it is at the descent of the witches, and they have to undergo the seven wonders. You've got the axe murderer, and the intros for this one features the witches' coven in a forest. Again, the same creepy music. We feature some of the flashes of the seven wonders. We feature some demonic pictures and some demonic symbolism, some weird creatures from like fables and stuff like that. Obviously, it's mainly concentrating on the witch trials and witchcraft. You've also got some flashes of voodoo, some deers and some stags because of the um, Delphine Delarue. Can't pronounce her name, I'm sorry. And then obviously doing the seven wonders and the voodoo, because this series features both witches and voodoo, and it does it quite well. So for me, the Coven intro is one of the best. I really like the Coven intro. I think it gives it that edge, that interest, and it makes you want to watch it. It doesn't necessarily tell you that it's all about witches or all about voodoo. So the next one after Coven is Freak Show. So Freak Show is set around a circus, and this features some unsavory characters, some weirder characters, and concentrates on the circus theme with Elsa and her freaks. And the intro for this one has a kind of childish element to it. You've got the whole circus tent. You've got the little freaks crawling around as like toys. You've got clowns. It gives it a real childhood kind of going to the circus when you were younger kind of feel. You've got Lobster Boy. You've got the clowns, the bearded lady. If you like the circus, I guess the intro is all well and good. For me, the circus to me is a little bit creepy. Not because it features freaks, just the whole creepiness of the dolls, the balloon making, and dolls with no heads. Um, it's not for me the best intro. Again, I do like the fact that Jessica Lange is in this one. I don't know. I think the titles kind of lack something. For me, the Freak Show, for me, is not the best. It falls a little flat when it comes to the intro. I think it makes it look a bit more childlike, and then when you really get into the story of Freak Show, it is proper dark. I think the intro is a bit misleading, but that's just me. The next intro we go on to is Hotel. Obviously, Hotel, again, was one of my personal favorites. Features in the Hotel Cortez. You've got Lady Gaga featuring it, and it looks at the disturbing and paranormal events that happen in this hotel. So the intro itself, this one is also really gory. This one is dark and gory. It features nudity. It features sultriness. It features kind of flash imagery, neon lights, the whole kind of 1970s, 1980s kind of flashes of neon signs, ghosts. Features skeletons, a bit more sex, a bit more gore, a bit more weirdness with the people buried in the mattresses. Features like peephole footage, blood, a bit of gore. It is quite dark, must admit, it is quite dark. And the music is pretty eerie. So, when it comes to Hotel, the thing for me is it's quite neutral. For me, it's just a bit predictable that it would be like peephole shows, ghosts and stuff is a bit on the nose for an intro for at least me. So number 6 would be American Horror Story Roanoke. So this one was one of the series that wasn't one of my personal favorites. And I don't think I've actually got a clip of Roanoke. But the Roanoke intro, for me, is okay. I'm not a big fan of Roanoke as a whole. And I don't have a clip of Roanoke, which is strange because it doesn't feature in this. Let me see if I can find it. Sorry, technical difficulties here. Here we have it. American Horror Story Roanoke. Sorry, So this is obviously the Roanoke obviously goes into the Northern Carolina house, and this talks about the Roanoke place, which is invaded technically by camera crews trying to pick up on the ghosts and that inhabit the place and the story behind it. And the intro for me is a bit weird. You've got like the Wicker Men, you've got a more dark, eerie take to it. But I think the intro lacks. It's a very short intro as well. It's a minute, but it features a lot of fire, a lot of burning men. And personally, it's not my favourite. It is quite low for me. Roanoke is not my cup of tea. Even the series itself, for me, kind of failed. Okay, number 7. Oh, one of my less exciting ones is Cult. Cult was the one that featured quite a lot of the political side, the Donald Trump side, politics. It featured some clowns, which is a portrayal of what all politicians are. They're basically clowns. Again, the intro itself kind of fell short. You had the fairgrounds, you had the clowns, you had Donald Trump, you had a bit of gore. It showed you like American politics. And again, it just didn't do it for me. So Cult is in the bottom. I know. You're going to come for me. I know. You're going to judge me. Judge me. Okay. Another one that I didn't like. Apocalypse. Now, a lot of people don't like Apocalypse. There was two kind of storylines within the Apocalypse. You had the Witches' Coven, and then you had the Antichrist. And you had the Apocalypse going on, the Antichrist, the Witches featured in this one. The intro itself isn't too bad. You have like the Apocalypse, end of the world kind of explosion. You have the Witches' Coven, the Antichrist. The whole world and demons has kind of gone to shit. You get flashes of snakes, you get flashes of religious imagery and devil and science and explosions. And again, for me, the intro just falls short. Apocalypse, I'd probably put it in neutral. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. It's kind of in the middle. Okay, the next one is the American Horror Stories 1984. So 1984 is obviously during the 1980s, and it focuses on the staff of a camp after a massacre happened 14 years prior. So it has a really kind of in your face 1980s hip hop, but also features some flash and imagery of like upbeat kind of imagery, and then it features like Crystal Lake, obviously where some people died. It features the camp. The music has that 1980s twang to it as well, if you want to call it a twang. It features people in leg warmers, breakdancing, and for me, 1984 is at the bottom. I just don't like it. I'm sorry. I just don't like it. Don't come for me. So, season 10 was a double feature, and this was the double feature where you had part of it was taken up by Red Tide, and then the other half was more like alien based. So, I don't have a clip for the intro for this one, but I was never a big fan of the aliens. If I have to be really honest, um, they didn't. The whole season for that just didn't really fill me with anything. And I know what you're gonna say. The Red Tide one featured the pills. They were having problems. Were getting pregnant. There was an author in it, and she was just seeing with things and feeling with things. And it features a lot of gore and a lot of blood. And then you obviously had Death Valley, which was the second part. And the Death Valley one, again, was a bit more darker. The intro features a lot more creepiness, a lot more weirdness for me, and was a lot more interesting, although I still do not like the alien thing. I am not feeling the alien thing. I just don't know whether Horror Story just does it for me with the alien thing. But I guess each to their own. So for that, the alien one, the first one, Red Tide, I would probably put neutral. The second half, the alien one, not my cup of tea. So we still have two to go. So the next one is 1984, which is NYC, sorry, which features during the 1980s once again, and this is to do with the deaths of multiple gay men and the emerging of the AIDS virus. So this intro features a lot of gayness. It features things like DNA, bondage, blood, gore, a bit of sex, a little bit of everything. It shows camera footage, filming, and it is quite gory. Um, it's a bit science fiction for me, like the whole medical stuff and that. And I would put it in really good. I think it's a good intro. I don't think it's the best intro, as you can see from my ranking. The last series, Delicate. Oh dear. This series just didn't do it for me. It fell short. This woman was giving birth. I actually lost interest, I think, mainly because it was in two parts. Due to writing problems with the writer's strike, it was in two parts. And I think, had it have been in one continuous part, maybe, but it kind of didn't have much in it. You had Kim Kardashian, you had Emma Roberts. The storyline was okay, but I think it was a little bit ill conceived. Maybe the writer's block played a part. So the intro shows a stork, it shows a black widow spider, it shows a woman giving birth. It also shows the evil bit of the people wanting to take the baby for demonic reasons. It shows a pushchair on fire, placentas, medical equipment. And it is one of the more bloody and gory intros. And for that, we're going to put it in neutral. Again, not my favorite, doesn't really do it for me, but it does feature a lot more gore than some of the others. So you are going to find no surprise that Asylum and Coven are at the top, and then Murder House, and then NYC, and then Hotel Apocalypse, and the rest. You can see that personally, the ones that for me are a bit more weirder and feature a little less gore per se, but a bit more creepy, feature higher. And then the ones at the bottom, Freak Show, the whole carnival thing, the Roanoke, Wicker Man thing doesn't do it for me. The political side doesn't really do it for me. The Crystal Lake stuff feels a bit childish. And then the alien part of double feature again just falls short for me. So this is my ranking for the seasons 1 to 12 of American Horror Story. Let me know what you think. Which is your favorite intro? Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? Let me know if you want to see any more of these. I do plan to do some more. And I thought starting off with the actual ranking of each of these and then the ranking of the intros, we then can get into the juicy bits of ranking things like the characters. But let me know what you think. If you want to give it a big thumbs up, that would be amazing. Support the channel with a PayPal, Super Chat, or Super Thanks. Become a member. You can also join me on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. And I will see you all very soon. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Share your thoughts, and I will reply to you as soon as I can. Bye, guys.